right, welcome to the Dragon's Tome. I am your host, Chopper, joined again as always with Rob and Jack. No need to point to who those guys are. Everyone should know them by now. Jack's the one who loves comments, and Rob is the one who hates them. Um, Here we are, Dragon Magazine 175 in episode
174.
175.
174.
Shit, I'm looking at the wrong magazine. 174.
174. It's got a ghosty on the front.
Yeah. So this must be, is this October?
No. Yes, it is actually. October 91.
Yeah, because we have ghosties now. We're almost in 92, man. We're almost to the point now where I'm going to start playing Dungeons and Dragons again. So, all right, well, let's move on. I guess I got nothing to say more about that.
About the cover?
Oh, then we're going to move on with the cover now. I was making banter.
Now
I have
We're supposed to
nothing else
respond
say
to
about the
banter? Oh, sorry. I didn't know what's going on.
So, thanks for, layup.
We're like, yeah, that's
Rob's
nice.
got the specter of podcast's future over his shoulder.
Like, when I want it to happen, it doesn't happen. There it goes.
There it is.
Ooh.
Okay.
All right, so here we go. We got our little Halloween cover, a ghost scaring some little elf dude with what looks to be a dead Roman legionnaire.
Yeah, this well should be. It's by Kevin Ward. I wonder
It's
what
a Norse thing, if I remember right?
I wonder what the words on this tombstone say.
Anyone can translate Norse things. Anyone? What are they called? Norse ruins? Ruins is the word I was looking for. Ruins, Alex. Ruins.
You'd think if it said anything in particular that it would be in the description, so quite possibly it's just,
Gibberish.
artistic license.
So do you think the ghost killed this person, or do you think this is this person's ghost?
I think it's death coming to take the person.
Yeah. I just want to know why, if you're undead, do you have to have a lantern?
So you can see in the dark.
But I would feel like you could just see in the dark.
It's a dark world.
It is one of those things that you just, I don't know, ghosts have lanterns? There's got to be some sort of backstory or...
You think like there's some costume designer in the underworld going like, what's going to scare these people? A lantern. Here you go. Take this right here.
It's
This
a
is going to
lantern
get them.
salesman just making commission.
You put that hood over your head and you hold that lantern real close to your face. Screams.
Maybe the
Screams
lantern
galore.
comes with the hood. It's like a 2-for-1 deal.
I was thinking more in tradition or literature or in folklore, but yes, there is someone out there, here's your shroud, here's your lantern.
Organizing the
I've
brand.
heard of death merchants, so I think that's what it means.
We got to organize the brand, guys. We got to be scary. Here's an lantern. Again, good cover. I mean, what else can we say about it?
Not much.
Not much.
Not much.
All right. Well, then let's move on into the articles and see what kind of scary things are in our Halloween.
Ooh.
I mean, as everyone can see at the top of the thing, we're going to be talking about the scariest realm of the D&D world. Rob, why don't you go first? Because I know you like to do your editorials.
This is an editorial. It's on page 8. It's Gen Con 91. It's pretty much Roger E. Moore goes through Gen Con like he usually does. But this is at Milwaukee. It's the Mecca in Milwaukee. And this is starting to sound like a real Gen Con. It's becoming what it is now. It's becoming bigger and bigger. He said that people were lining up around the block for 24 hours to get their tickets. And
oh, God, that thing.
And there's a lot of periphery stuff now. There's like chainmail bikini salesmen and tons of t-shirt vendors, things like that. That's a sign that the con is matured when you have all that.
Here we are 30 years later, and there's still bikini
nothing's changed. Yeah, it's a lot of steampunk leather instead of bikinis, but still. What else? He saw there's like a video game section. He saw a massive multiplayer shooter for the first time, and he was describing it as like, yeah, we have those a lot, but this was like a big thing for him to see. I think he said like there was 20 people on a side fighting each other. It's the beginning of that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And he also pointed out a Lord of the Rings miniature game, which I thought was cool. That was the attack on Minas Tirith, but it had 200 players, and it was like huge miniature board that you could fight through the whole Minas Tirith. That would have been amazing.
Did he say what system they were using?
No, I don't think so. I don't think he mentioned the system.
I'd be curious to see what system they were playing for that big giant battle.
Yeah, he just says it's a Siege of Gondor scenario. Yeah, it doesn't say 25 millimeter scale models, so that's quite a bit. But he didn't say what system. I wonder. Yeah, it might have been like a home brew. To have that many players, I don't think any real system could handle that. Like that must be
Grenadier maybe, because we've seen that. Yeah. But again, I don't know what that is.
I don't know how flexible
Fantasy
it is.
Wars. Yeah.
It definitely not Warhammer. You could never do that in Warhammer.
No.
Or battle system, I don't think either.
I mean, ironically, later on though, GW does put out the Lord of the Rings strategic game, which you could do that then. But that's wait, hold on. When did Lord of the Rings come out? 98? 99?
The movies?
Yeah.
Was it that early? I thought it was 2000s.
No.
Yeah. 2000?
I think so. I think it was, definitely 2000s, yeah. Early 2000s, but I think 2000s.
Yeah, it's got to be close. 99, 2000, 2001, somewhere in there.
Well, comment below. Tell us when Lord of the Rings movies came out. we
so
could Google it, but we're not going to bother.
What I'm trying to say is it's not that far away from that game existing. So,
is that when they got the license? Is when the movies came out?
Yeah, when the movie they got the
right now it's owned by what is that? Is it Age owns it? I can't remember who owns it.
They still have the license for Lord of the Rings because they're still putting miniatures and games out.
Warhammer does. Yeah, I mean, GW does now, but I'm saying at this point, I think it's Age. I think has it.
Oh, yeah.
Or what is it? I can't remember.
Yeah.
We'll see the ads later, I'm sure. What else? He said that Saturday had a shocking amount of people, which is, except for last year, it's Gen Con, is like a normal thing where all of a sudden Saturday you're like, what the hell? Where are all these people coming from?
Yeah.
Last year was weird. Like everybody was there on like Thursday and nobody really came on the weekend. It was really weird last year.
Yeah, the Friday, Saturday last year was very, very, at least in the
vendor hall, yeah.
At least in the vendor hall, it was very light on Friday and Saturday. Yeah, I don't know what it was like outside the thing because I never got to see the outside once I started working for Mantic Games.
Yep, maybe this year. Maybe you'll get to see the outside world again.
And then when it closed, I didn't care about the outside world. I just wanted to get to the hotel.
I like it. There was a huge storm. We didn't even know it. And it like shut down parts of the outside. And like we had no clue. We're in the convention hall. We're like
people were getting sucked up by tornadoes and we were just selling games. Here you go.
Yep, no idea. It's just funny. Literally shut down like the food court area. And we didn't even know about it. That was Gen Con 91. So it's
91.
By 91, it's starting to sound like a real Gen Con, even though it's still in Milwaukee. Do you know when it switches over to Indianapolis?
No, I don't remember. I
would guess
maybe 94, 95. Don't quote me on that. Yeah. I'm just throwing out a guess.
If you know,
but I think
please comment below.
It ramps up exponentially around this time though, Gen Con itself. So.
It seems like it. Like this seemed like a lot. Like even for someone who's been going to it a lot, Roger E. Moore was just like, "What the fuck?"
95 seems like a date that rings in my head when it moved because I was like, "Why are you moving out of Wisconsin? This is sacrilege."
Sacrilegious. So there you go. That was my.
AD&D belongs in Wisconsin, even though I'm not from Wisconsin, but I always felt like it should belong in the Wisconsin area.
It's hard to thumb your nose at tradition, the way things are in quotes supposed to be. I can see it.
All right, Jack, enlighten us with your article.
Okay, if we could go to page 18 of the PDF. Are we already duplicating?
Not me.
We're stepping on each other's toes, but that's okay.
Okay, well then we can do it together.
Yes, you start. I'll jump.
Out of the Mists, 3 new Ravenloft creatures that long to meet you, by William W. Connors. And we have in the proper format now, in the compendium format,
with the hole punches to.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah.
Hey, I can understand the reluctance to try and find a hole punch that matches that binder. So if you've got one of those little handheld,
you can just. That's actually really smart. Yeah, they put the dots so you can just hand punch it. Yeah, that's really. Yeah. If you're gonna rip your Dragon magazine apart, though, would you want to do that? Because
But
some,
the photocopy would.
It makes me wonder if
photocopy,
they
yeah.
perforated these pages too.
Probably not.
I doubt it
But I
because I
think
don't
Jack's
remember.
right. They're probably used for photocopying. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
photocopy it, punch, 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 throw it in. The first one, the Shadow Asp, it's a snake made of shadows, and it's kind of a. Uh, uh, I don't know how well it fits into Ravenloft proper. For me, it doesn't make sense. The Ravenloft was always a bit traditional with the Easter or the Eastern European folklore, like a werewolf or a witch, but it's a monster for your collection.
Yeah, I do like it a little bit because there's I forget what the chances of you being turned into a shadow if you get bit by one of these things.
The second one is the Fenhound, which I thought was far more appropriate because
I love the Fenhound. I thought it was a very cool monster.
yeah, and like they
It's
talk
like
about
the
being out on the
Hound of the
moors here.
Baskervilles.
Exactly. It's an homage to Sherlock Holmes, which I've read Hound of the Baskervilles. It's all right.
Spoilers.
Spoilers. There's
Spoilers.
dogs in it.
Spoilers. I can
Spoilers.
read.
It's not supernatural.
What?
What?
Ooh.
Oh, see, I read Hounds of the Baskervilles, and
That
there was
was
a lot of
supernatural.
supernatural going on. Anyways, so yes, a very homage to Hounds of the Baskervilles.
8 foot
And then
long. Jesus Christ.
the Psionic Lich. Now, the Psionic Lich, in some games, when the undead retain their abilities, which I think is interesting because they don't become a stock undead. This one retains psionics, and never been a fan of psionics, and I don't, in my opinion, and this is where we might get some hot takes. I don't think any undead should have psionic powers because
Especially a lich.
in my opinion, that's like brain stuff. Magic, I can see. Brain stuff,
Well, I guess
I wasn't buying it.
the psionic lich, and now that I'm rereading it a little bit because it's been a while since I looked at it. They don't have any magical spells or magic abilities, so I guess
not
maybe
both,
keeping the psionics. Yeah, it's not both. And for a second there, I thought it was both. Then I thought that would have been ridiculous.
My question is, why is this lich dressed like Doctor Strange?
Well, because he's the Eternal Guardian.
He's got the Eye of Agamotto, and he's looks like a Doctor Strange outfit.
I didn't see it, but now I do.
Yeah, I didn't see it until you said something, and there it is, in its full glory.
Doctor Strange 4, Sam Raimi's back, and
Yeah.
this is the
Did you hear the gonk? I hit the mic.
No.
did you?
We're just gonna gloss past this like a SNL skit.
Professional.
Yes,
the psychic lich has 2 pages.
If you're fishing for more blooper reels, no, Rob, that's not going to do it. You're going to have to really step.
Yeah, you're gonna step your game up.
I didn't go to McDonald's today, so sorry, no bloopers. I had actually a nice
So,
meal.
I mean, it's like as far as the lich is good. I mean, this is just really a lich with psychic powers. There's nothing special about it. I mean, it still has to make a phylactery like a regular lich and everything else. So, I mean, I don't know why this has to be for Ravenloft also, like the Shadow Asp.
Yeah.
So
it's it's because this issue is all about Ravenloft, so they just were like, hey, these are monsters, let's put them in Ravenloft.
psionics is a hot topic for some people too, but it's not for me.
I don't know if we're going to talk about it. I think they even talk about psionics in Ravenloft in this issues. I don't know if anybody picked that one, but
Probably not because it's psionics.
yeah, I didn't. That's for sure. Pat,
Stay tuned to see if anyone chose to talk about psionics.
yeah.
All right, guys. But we'll mention that there is a psionic thing. All right, so my turn. Let's go to page 25.
Cry Wolf.
We're gonna cross some wolves, baby.
Ow.
So 3 new wolves
London.
by Mr. Malto.
Tim the Malto.
all the wolves are really cool. The only one I didn't like was the stone wolf,
Vampire wolf's
which
kind of
is
silly.
stone wolf. Eh, yeah, a little bit silly, but still, you know,
But Stone Wolf is just a sphinx.
yeah, almost like. But the dread wolf is what I would envision to be the wolf of
Yeah,
Ravenloft.
and the ones that like Strahd would command. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
for sure.
Uh, this vampiric wolf looks more like a fox than anything else, but
Yeah, that's why I think he looks funny with his little fangs.
and
He's like
then
a one of
so
those little like snow dogs. They're like little teeny ones, Malmuts.
yeah.
It looks like a Malmut with fangs.
Well, I think the dread wolf is probably the strongest creature in these three wolves, the magic wolves. For Ravenloft, I feel like there could have been two other contenders that could have been better. Like someone else could have spent a little more time thinking Ravenloft, scary, vampire, Strahd,
Yeah,
realm. What can
maybe
we
maybe
do
they already
for?
have. Is the Ravenloft Monster Manual out at this point? I think it is.
I think it is too.
So maybe there's
So
a
I
bunch of wolves in
couldn't tell
there
you or
already.
not. And
Yeah,
so, and I may be talking on my ass then, because I don't have that Monstrous Companion Measure, so I don't know what's in
I
it.
think I might actually.
I have it. It's in my collection
Oh,
case.
that's what I thought. Yeah.
But I'm not busting open this
Oh,
the protecting
you're
case
saying you
around
don't
it.
have it at hand. You have it. You just
Yeah.
don't have it at hand.
Yes. So, I think I have a PDF of it on my computer somewhere. But
Oh, well. If you know
uh,
below what wolves are in the Ravenloft, please
yeah,
comment below.
there's better wolves because I think the stone wolf is by far the weakest of all of them. So
Once again, it's like Jack said. It's supposed to be Eastern European kind of. That's like very Egyptian. It
but
doesn't seem
yeah,
very. It
very
doesn't
middle.
fit.
Yeah, very so. Vampire wolf,
Yeah, it makes kind of sense, but
it gets sense. Yeah, so you get a break on that. But
yeah, a stone wolf,
Wolves,
especially
wolves
wolves.
in any of the folklore, the stories like Bram Stoker's Dracula, like all the things that this takes, like wolves are a big part of. So like,
yeah, I mean, and this, you know, but what I failed to mention is that vampire wolves are not created by vampires; they're actually created by evil clerics, and they actually lead the pack. So I'm not sure exactly
Well, what
how that
vampires
rolls
biting
into
wolves?
everything.
That's what
So
I'm asking.
yeah, so
Uh,
I mean, that being said, if the cleric is showing signs of weakness or whatever, the pack will kill him and turn on him. So it's not like they're loyal to that guy. So if he ever stubs his toe, he's dead.
nice.
All right, Rob, what do you got?
I got a few. I don't want to step on Jack's toes because he only has a couple. Jack, did you do Game Wizards?
I did not.
Okay. Pat, did you get Game Wizards?
No.
We're gonna go page 40 then. Game Wizards. This is all about the AD&D trading cards, 90-1 series, and
We were
it's
just talking about this.
yeah. Pat was thinking about buying some. I guess these cards are selling like crazy, and this, like we talked about last time, I think it was that it's not quite Magic the Gathering time, but this is definitely setting the stage for
Yeah.
Magic the Gathering.
This is still, I think, coming off of tops and baseball cards.
Yeah, it's definitely based on baseball cards, and it's James M. Moore talks about it. But so there's 750 cards now, 90 of which are rares, and the ones, remember when they had the bunch in Dragon Magazine? We were wondering about them, and those were like the beta test kind of cards. But
Oh,
and we thought that at the time, we're like, is this the first we've seen of them? And it was like hey, this is what we're doing, and how does this work? So they changed quite a bit from those ones. But he goes through every single set and what like all the different numbers and where you can get them. There's tons of distributor promos, which I thought was crazy already. Like that must be coming from baseball and that kind of like baseball cards and those that they have distributor promos. But there's tons of them. I was like, wow, if you wanted to collect every card, it'd be quite hard to at this point to collect all these.
well,
cards.
you'd get a list of the distributor promos because they don't even tell you what the distributor promos are, do they?
Yeah, they tell you. They go through. There's a Dark Sun one, I think that was a Capital City distributor, and there's a.
But what I'm asking, well, I guess what I'm trying to get at is it in this set,
You can't buy it.
or do you have to get like? Did you get it?
You'd
at
have to
Gamma?
buy it from that distributor, and they probably have a certain, like when you buy a certain amount from a distributor, they'll give you promos. That's how you get those cards.
Oh,
So how rare would
well,
those be?
I guess cards number 738 to 745 are no longer going to be available since it was Diamond Comic Distributors.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's a bunch of distributor cards, which I thought was crazy at the time.
All right.
And
So that's how many cards? 38. That's 7 cards just for Diamond card.
yeah, like the factory set of 750 cards are they're missing some of the cards because some of them are only through certain distributors. So it's not actually 750 cards because you can't get them. Like it'd be almost impossible to get those ones, especially at this time. Like now with the internet, everything's possible, right? But in 1991, to try to find these cards, I guess you could go through like a third party. Just there is card collector back then, I'm sure, mail order, but I can imagine it'd be a pain in the ass. But
Well,
so
at
if
least
anybody,
they give you the numbers.
Yeah.
It'd be easier to find now.
Yeah.
Those card numbers.
But that's a question. So I wonder if anybody at the time was able to collect all the cards. That would be interesting to know. But yeah, they talk about them and how popular they are. So we can expect to see a lot more cards. We know that these keep going. So, and I had quite a few.
At least they do at least 3 print runs, I've noticed. They do 91, 92, 93. I don't know if there's a 94 one out there.
Yeah, like they're at least doing them for, well, by 94, it's I think TSR is getting a little dicey. So maybe not.
It's true.
And also, I think by 94, Spellfire probably comes out. I would almost guarantee Spellfire comes out by then. Because Magic Gathering had been out by for a year at that point, so... So I bet Spellfire, because after Magic came out, there was that huge boom. Like every single company had cards. Like I remember buying Vampire cards and Legends.
Yeah, I think that was right after
and,
Spellfire went under too, when Vampire and all those other cards. There was a
so
Star
many.
Wars one.
Yeah. Star Trek.
Legend of the Five Rings.
Yeah.
I mean, Legend of the Five Rings gave Magic a good run. It stayed around for a long time.
Yeah, we played that, and yeah, there was tons. There's like weird ones, like pretty much we'd buy a starter deck for all these different games, so we had like tons of them. So
yeah,
there was a Call of Cthulhu one, which was really good. Called what's it called? Mythos. It was really good. I have some of those still. That was a really fun game. I looked up trying to buy those, and Jesus, they're expensive. But it's because it's Call of Cthulhu. People, there's a lot of fans. Yeah. Anyways, this is all about the cards, and I found it very interesting.
Yeah,
it is.
It's a good. I might have to remember this page, so if in case I'm looking for these distributed cards, I'll have to look for those numbers. So
yeah, it'd be interesting. And yeah, because I guess they're weird sizes, and they're gonna in the future runs they're gonna redo them, but at the regular size and stuff. So it's gonna be like you'll be able to get the card, but not the exclusive card. You know. So
yeah,
interesting.
Yeah. All right, Jack. What's your second article?
My second article, page 36, please. So go
is that your other one?
Super quick.
Did I snipe you again?
That's all right.
Well, it's a pretty short article, but it's interesting. It's called Bugged About Something by Gregory W. Detweiler. And he doesn't give like a bunch of creatures. What he gives is kind of a primer on insects and why they'd be good for adversaries. So he goes through the fact that insects for their weight have extraordinary strength.
Yes.
He talks about how some insects, they have all these crazy senses, gives combinations of the different abilities and armor class because of exoskeletons and stuff. And it is, like I said, more so a discussion about why you could make insects cool in D&D and how you would do it, rather than here's a giant bee.
Yeah, here's a giant, and I don't disagree with this article as a player and a GM, because thinking back, the idea of fighting a giant bug never scared me unless it was a giant spider or a giant praying mantis. A giant ant would never scare me as a player. Be like, oh, it's giant ant, whatever.
But if they actually played them how they're supposed to,
if you played them like an ant that size, it'd pick you up and throw you a mile if you really wanted to, and crush you. So if you play them as to what's the word I'm looking for, proportional strengths and weaknesses, then those things are, they would rival a dragon probably.
Well, the ones he's talking about, he's putting them at around 2 feet long, so they're still they're.
The giant ant, but the giant ant is 6 feet long.
Yeah, and all these monsters are in the monster manual, so that's why they didn't do stats for them. You're just telling you how to play them. That's all, really.
Yeah. It's. Hey, make sure you remember some of these things are poisonous. Some of these things you can freeze them and they're not dead. Like it's.
If you do this, if you do it right, though, you could put a healthy respect in just bugs. Giant bugs.
Jack made me afraid of sturges, so
You could.
it's always possible.
I did no such thing.
I've got a
Yeah, you
phobia.
could do a Honey, I Shrunk the Adventurers situation where you went the other way, but certainly you go to a faraway land and
Well, because isn't it if ants were human sized, they couldn't live because they couldn't. They're the way they're breathe they couldn't do it. I think it's physically impossible to have giant bugs. Just the way that they work, like biologically. But
I seem to remember that back when there were giant dragonflies and stuff, it was because the oxygen level was so much higher, or was it the carbon dioxide level was so much higher?
It was able to go through their thoraxes and shit.
Yeah, and they were able to respirate.
If you're a what are bug experts called?
Entomologist.
If you're an entomologist, please comment below.
I think it's an entomologist.
I don't know.
Or maybe an entomologist is a bee doctor.
Just bees.
Yeah.
Well, anyways,
a bee doctor.
Insectologist.
If you know what they're called, comment below.
It's a good thing it's a fantasy world, and so these bugs can exist because whatever requirements they need for oxygen exists.
Yeah, and there's magic, whatever. But
and entomologist would be the proper, being correct.
Are we just saying that?
No. I let you get your tomfoolery and hijinks in, your buffoonery, but it's an entomologist.
Okay, I knew it was something. Yeah.
Yes, that's my article.
All right, Rob.
And apparently,
and that's my last article.
I got a few quick hitters here.
So hit us up, Rob. Tell us what we got
59 next. Is a roll of computers. It's actually you have to scroll down a bit. It's actually on page 61. Is Sonic the Hedgehog. This is the debut of Sonic the Hedgehog, the infamous. Wow. And I remember at the time, like I was big. I was a Genesis guy, so I had Sonic. The speed that Sonic went was like unheard of at the time. Like
it was
seamless. Lot. Yeah, it was crazy.
Like I think my problem with Sonic the Hedgehog is because it went so fast and it was so chaotically fast. Coming from earlier consoles where you played levels at like Pitfall, you played that at normal speed, so you could view your options. With Sonic the Hedgehog, you feel like am I missing something?
Oh, you're
I just flew right past all that.
Tightrope the whole time.
Yeah.
It is a muscle memory game.
Oh, yeah.
It is a try and retry, get the pattern type game.
So
it's a jam.
I bought an old Sega Genesis, working Genesis, and Sonic the Hedgehog because my wife grew up playing that game too, and she just loves it. So
it's a good game. Sonic 2 is a better game, but Sonic, it was this guy gives it a rave review. He gives it 5 stars, and because at the time this was like groundbreaking. The colors, the speed, the little animations when you destroy somebody, the little animals run off, like the little things like that. Where it's like, why would you waste power? But Genesis was so much more powerful than the old consoles that they were like, oh, we could just mess around and have these weird things happening. But yes. It also, I looked up the price. Sonic was $54.95. I looked up the price. That's $127 in today money. That is crazy expensive. I think it came with all the consoles. So who's buying it? But still, it was.
Was it included with the console? You think?
I believe so. Remember. Yeah. I think it came with.
Because I never owned a Sega Genesis. At this point, I was moving on into.
I would never have paid. I would never have bought Sonic. I don't think. So I had Sonic. So I think it came with it. So.
Because I went from, where did I go? I went from television to computer. And then when PlayStation came out, I kind of backtracked to PlayStation a little bit. But
I went from ColecoVision to Sega Master System to Nintendo, because everybody had Nintendo, so I was kind of like a fool to have Sega Master System. And then
you know what? You're right. I had a Nintendo, so I take that back. Nintendo after Nintendo came before computers.
Yeah. I never had a computer until I was in college, really. Anyways, Jack, do you have a history of computer games?
I would say VIC-20, Commodore 64.
You always had computers.
Yes, then we had an IBM, a Hewlett-Packard, and then I had my own Nintendo PlayStation 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah. I don't think I ever had. Everybody else always had the PlayStations. I don't think I ever owned a PlayStation. I lived with
my
people with
roommate
PlayStation.
my roommate had the Dreamcast. What came
Oh,
after
yeah.
the Genesis was the Dreamcast, right?
No, Dreamcast was a lot later. That was
Well,
with
he had the Dreamcast.
Dreamcast came out with what did it come out at the same time as? I don't remember. GameCube, maybe.
Nintendo Cube.
Yeah, that was later. That was much later. I was already out of university at that point. And that came.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah, there was plenty, like the Jaguar and the.
oh yeah, our buddy had a Jaguar, Atari Jaguar.
Plenty of.
Atari Jaguar was cool because it had Aliens vs Predator. That was the only reason to buy that. That was the game it had on it. And I think it also had that was the first one. Was that the first one with a disc drive? I think it might have been first one with a CD drive. Was it? Maybe not. Maybe it was cartridges. I can't remember. Or it did have an add-on. I think it might have had an add-on to add a disc drive.
These are so long ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. Anyways,
all right. What do you got next?
My other quick hit is on page 117, and that's it's Battletech. It's the Through the Looking Glass by Robert Bigelow. It's some Omnimex from good old Raul Partha. But these things are looking so spindly, so terrible.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't have any. Do I have one? I want to show
They
a
look,
real
like
one.
they look like emaciated cleanse.
Yeah,
Because those
it's
guys
so funny
are.
looking. I don't have any on.
They're
Anyways,
they're
they look terrible.
they're a plague upon a good game.
But they just look so. These miniatures are terrible. Even he says that, and there's so many parts to them, and they're all metal, and they fall apart. Like he even kind of gives them a bad review because they're so bad. Because they at the time metal miniatures, especially with the Mad Cat and the Vulture with those spinny little legs. Man, it was a pain in the ass trying to hold up something that heavy with those little spinny legs.
Oh, God.
And as an outsider, I know that the hexagonal bases are the go-to. So two of them look like they would be for the game purposes, and the other two are on little
Just ovals.
little bean islands. There is that for something else, or is that
No,
just...
it's just like
that's how it was cast.
yeah. I have one on my table right here that has a little bean on the bottom for some reason. It's just some of them were made that way. Oh, it's not one of these ones, but
Okay, it's not a mechanical.
But
yeah,
Yeah,
it was
put 'em
just
on
the
an
way it was
X-Base.
cast. Yeah, it was the way it's cast. You could cut them off, I guess, but.
Okay.
And the other thing is, if we scroll down the next page, it's got the Raul Partha Displacer Beast. Did every single person on the planet own this miniature?
I did.
Everybody
did. And those tentacles kept falling off left and right.
Metal miniature, yep. But yeah,
I had this owlbear too.
Yeah, it's classics. Yeah, but that
Which
Displacer
looked
Beast,
more
when
like
I
a
saw it,
dog.
it was like everybody had that. Everybody had that Displacer Beast.
And then I even had the Grenadier version one too.
It's a cool looking miniature. But yeah, Raul Partha, you should have stuck to those because the mechs look terrible.
No, I didn't really look through all these things, but that Catoblepus is here, the one that we talked about that many episodes ago in the
Where's
beginning.
that? Oh, there it is. Yeah,
It was in an ecology because we made fun of that thing.
yeah. It's like a Campbell with a long neck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so many times I look through this, like you'd see these miniatures in like they'd have bins of miniatures that were just like at cons. They're just like 5-cent miniatures. You'd always see these kind of miniatures in there.
Yeah, there's a news team for Shadowrun on
Oh
there
yeah,
too.
yeah, it's funny. Kind of orc
Cameraman guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think
All
that's
right.
it for me, though. I think that's everything I had to talk about in this
All
magazine.
right. Well, let's hit some ads then, Jack.
Oh, okay. Could we go to page 3, please? Hopefully that was a... Did I get a hat trick on Patrick?
I think you did.
He stole every single one of your things. I like it.
No, he didn't.
Oh, okay. So it's a come play with us. We've seen the same layout with that same banner across the top, but it's always the books are different. And Ravenloft, The Touch of Death. Okay, it's a.
So, I assume it's
a book.
Yeah.
The Dwarves Handbook. Hey, nice. Don't care.
Didn't have
the Rules Cyclopedia for Dungeons and Dragons, not AD&D, and this is essential volume combines all of the different levels.
Not all of them.
Yeah, we just had this discussion.
Me and Pat had this long discussion because we were discussing this, but you continue on, Jack.
the other night.
Yeah.
We were.
I don't know why we're talking about it.
We were
Came up.
painting, and we were painting, and then this came up. And this is funny that you bring this up.
Yeah.
It's funny, but also hurts because I wasn't invited. So
You were working.
Yeah, it's not your fault.
Yeah, I'm a wage slave. I know.
But yeah, it doesn't include the Immortals. And we're like, why doesn't it include? We always thought it was Beckme, but it's not. It's just Beckham.
I always thought it was Beckme. I always thought people referred to it as Beckme.
Yeah. As for this rules cyclopedia, but it is not. Immortal is not in there because by this point they realized the Immortal rules were stupid and didn't work, and so they're like, let's not put those in there. Let's rethink this. So
it's Beckham, not Beckme.
Yeah.
Okay.
We bend
but
it
anyways,
like Beckham.
I vaguely remember the cover art. Vaguely, when I saw it, I was like, I think but I never owned the book, and I don't think at this point I knew anyone who was still playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Regular D&D, yeah.
But that is a good idea. I think maybe 7 or 8 years too late.
Or too early.
But a very
But yeah. It is I don't see the point. Like they say, this was kind of the expand, because we talked about that box set that came out that was D&D box set, the starter box. This is kind of like
the black box.
Yeah, the new one that just came out that we're like, it's not a new edition, but it was kind of a new edition. They're like, okay, you got that black box. Now if you want to play D&D, you buy this rules cyclopedia, and that'll give you the rest of the rules. And that's kind of like the next step. And that was their thinking. I wonder how well it sold. Like, that's my curiosity. Yeah. When you have AD&D, why would anybody be playing D&D? That's always my question.
Well, there's some people I like D&D. I'm not gonna lie to you. I do like basic D&D.
Because you're a fool.
Well, no, because it's different and it's a little bit fun. Now, I am going to go back to this Beckme thing because I'm now looking at some history on it, and it says here currently the main source to get the original Beckme is in a click package in the Rules Cyclopedia.
But it's not. It's a lie.
But it's not. So I don't understand what's going on here.
They do mention immortal rules in that rule cyclopedia, but they don't give the rules for it. They say there is rules for being an immortal. It's just the immortal rules. There was no levels at that point, I guess, and you'd get paragon points, I think they were called, and you'd like as you could raise up your stats and you could do things like that. Like once you get immortal, and you weren't gaining levels anymore. You're at what is it? 36 was max level in D&D, I think.
Something like that, yeah.
I think so. So it was just like a way to play past 36. It's like, yeah. Immortal set was, I guess there was another one that came out. It was called Wrath of the Immortal or something like that.
Yeah, because Masters allowed you to get to 36.
Yeah. And there was another book that came out called Wrath of the Immortal, I think it's called. And they said that was a better rule system for Immortal rules. And they were like, yeah, if you're ever going to play Immortal rules, use that. Don't use the Immortal box set, because the Immortal box set didn't really work. It was one of those things where at the time they were just pumping out those box sets. And I think they were like, hey, this is an idea. And it didn't really get play tested probably enough. So
I mean, yeah, there's still a ton of people that play Beckme.
I'm sure.
As well,
yeah. There's old school people, like those people who play old school, which is just that. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but this is a really good compilation book, and I'm glad I have it.
Yeah, you have it. Is it just me, or is the book actually black? I don't remember it having that blue background. I thought it was black.
No, it's blue, and the back the binder is more like a cream color.
Oh, really? I always thought it was darker colored. Maybe that's a later edition that's the dark color.
I do want to get see if I can find that black box set or whatever they called it.
Yeah, the newest one, yeah.
Yeah.
The last one, because after second edition, I think third edition goes back to just being called D&D, doesn't it? It's not AD&D anymore, so.
No, it's AD&D.
Third edition?
I think so.
I thought it goes back to D&D at third edition.
You could be right.
Anyways,
I'm not 100%
we'll
sure.
find out. We'll find out in a few years. Quite a few years,
Yeah,
I think, because I think Wizards of the Coast owns it by that point. I would love to have all these splat books, but they go for quite a price now. You can't. I have quite a few
Splat
of
books
them.
you're talking about, the Dwarves one?
Yeah, like I'd love to have the whole set of those.
I don't know if I'd like the whole set, but I want the original ones. Like the Dwarves one comes in the second wave of these books. So
but I would like to have them all, but yeah, they do quite a penny for some of them. Probably some of them are less.
Honestly, I think this dwarf book goes for $20.
Yeah, I think some of the common ones probably they printed a lot of them, so they're probably more common. But I think like the Celts one and things like that, I bet are a lot harder to get. Like those ones, or some of them we'd never even seen before. I think we were saying, hey, I didn't even know that existed. So
well, let's be honest. Your version of expensive and my version of expensive are two
Yes.
different things.
You're between 9 and 99. I'm like, is it $10? I don't buy it.
He's between 9 and 10.
Yeah, that's right. 9 cents
I
and
can
$10.
I can assure you, if you're looking for cheap ones, it would be the Halflings, Gnomes, and Thieves books.
So that's
Those
what
are the
you
ones
own.
I have.
Yeah.
So that guarantees you that they are completely worthless.
I have psionics of all things. I have arms and equipment, and I think I had thieves and fighter. I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I have the original. For, what is the original 6? Was the clerics, the fighters, the
Wizards.
wizards,
Yeah.
thieves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that would be something that'd be cool to have. The whole set.
Right. Well, I'm tired of getting sniped, so I'm going to go next. So let's go to page 2.
2 is not mine either.
Yeah, Into the Void, Spelljammer book. So this
I do like the picture.
is I think this is one of the first novels to come out for Spelljammer, one of the first ones, and it's the one Spelljammer that I read that made me change my mind about Spelljammer, because when Spelljammer first came out, I had kind of a negative attitude towards it, like, oh Christ, what are we doing? We're having Star Trek in space. Why can't we just play Star Trek then? Or Star Trek and D&D. Why can't we just play Star Trek then? Blah blah blah. And then I read the book and I was like, okay, this is slightly more entertaining than what I gave it credit for. I went in with a very prejudiced attitude, and I read this book. My friend had it. He said, "Here, read the book." I said, "All right, no, I'll buy it. I'll borrow the book," and read the paperback. And I liked Spelljammer a little bit more than that.
Into the Void is the second in the Forgotten Realms fantasy Spelljammer. What do you call it? Cloakmaster cycle. The third one was written by Roger E. Moore. That's kind of interesting. This one's by Nigel Findley. I remember that name. He wrote a lot of D&D books, I think.
He did, yeah. So
it's one thing that TSR did very well was the synergy between the novelizations and the games.
Yeah, I agree. They learned from Dragonlance. When they do Dragonlance, they're like, "Oh, this actually is a really good idea."
Yeah, they really roped it in with Forgotten Realms, and then they just followed that formula with the Dark Sun, Spelljammer,
Ravenloft. I read those books. Like, I love the Ravenloft books.
They even put some Al-Qadim books out too.
Yeah,
I never got into Al-Qadim, but why would you do Al-Qadim when you could do Dark Sun? Was my attitude.
Yeah.
And
they seem kind of similar, yeah.
I mean, it's more Arabian, where Dark Sun is more
alien, yeah.
Dune, or what's that guy? John Carter.
Yeah, or Lord of Mars.
Barsoom, yeah. No, I think for every Walden Books Cole's visit where you found a cover and went, "Oh, I want to read this. I'm looking for fantasy," and then I can go play this in this world.
Because there was always tons. Yeah, there was tons of books. Always.
Yeah,
they're great covers. Yeah, they always had.
And then the computer game for Spelljammer. I'm sure that's going to come down later on. But that was also the other thing that really made them decide that
never played that.
I'll play Spelljammer. It was a gold box.
Yeah, I never played that one.
Yeah. I'm sure it's not out yet, but it'll be out soon.
We might have mentioned it already, if I remember correctly. Maybe not.
No, I don't think so, because it comes out way after the box sets come out in the books.
Is it my turn?
Yes.
We're gonna go to page 45. It's actually this is a series, because it's the Chill. This one's vampires, and it's this little splat, and it has a little thing about vampires with Chill. You go to the next
45?
couple. Yep.
Top right corner.
Vampires and popular superstition.
Oh, that little thing. Okay.
And then you scroll down a couple pages, you get the werewolf one, the lycanthropes. And you scroll down a couple pages, you get the Chill companion. It's a weird, crazy
I didn't even
art.
notice these things. I thought these were just like parts of the arc.
Yeah. 51 has another one. Yeah.
This is right in the middle of that arc.
Yeah, the
Joan
Princess Arc. Yeah.
The Princess Arc one.
Yep, 51 has another one, and then 53 is the actual ad. So we go to the one at 53. And I just want to say Chill was cool. I own Chill, but the artwork of Chill was always great. It was a very sketchy and weird, and I love the artwork for Chill. This photocopy is not a great representation. It's black and white, but it's very cool. I love Chill.
It was watercolor by way like
with a knife or something, like fucking
it was very good. If it had a tone and you could see every when you saw supplements for it, it looked
Yeah, they
like
edited
it
yeah.
was for it.
I
It
think
was
Chill would have
very
been
nice.
much more popular if Vampire hadn't come out like the next year. It kind of killed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So our friend Duck, Jeff Leeson, actually worked on the
Oh, yeah?
second edition of Chill when he was
Nice.
at Mayfair Games.
Cool. I love Chill. I wonder if I have the second edition books.
Get him
Yeah,
signed.
I would. Except for it's in
All
terrible
right.
condition. It was a black cover. It looked rough.
It can't be so bad that you'd be embarrassed to show them a well-used,
That's true.
because we played Chill.
Yeah. I love Chill. I think
So,
that might have been the first one I really DM'd. I was never a DM, but I think Chill might have been one of the first I started really liking. It's a real good system. It's real simple, but really the way that they did the like resolution and stuff was really fun, and the adventures were good. It was a really good system.
Yeah.
Mayfair was a good company. Like they also did Star Trek.
some good things. So.
They're Star Wars. I mean,
Yeah.
no, West End.
Well,
Is
what
Star
are they
Wars.
up to now?
West End.
Mayfair.
I think Mayfair's done.
Oh, yeah.
What?
I'm sure they are. All these companies are done. Whose turn is it for ads?
It's mine. We're going to go to page 67.
Wasn't it Jack's?
Well, Jackson only got one.
I do my one.
Oh, you
my
only have one? I thought you did too. I left this one. I knew this was.
Yeah. So this is the Shadowrun London source book. It was a great source book to break yourself out of North America. I added some great Euro adventures into this. They would do missions bouncing back and forth.
I also love
from
the
States.
FASA would do those. It says 16 color pages. Those color pages were so amazing, and all their
Yeah,
like
they did.
BattleTech and in their Shadowrun. Those color pages are like you come to those pages, and you're like, oh my god, this is like a piece of art you could
I would
rip
say
out. and put on your
FASA
wall.
and TSR, they had a great stock, a great, what do you want to call it, great stable of artists.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
Stable. Yeah.
with not too much to say with Long Source Book. Do you have another ad, Rob?
Yep. We're gonna go to. I'm amazed you guys didn't do this one. And 124 is the cards. It's the factory set.
We're only allowed to do one, so like you can't do them all.
So this has all 750 cards. So it must have the those distributor ones, but not the. I think they have different borders, so you didn't get the special ones.
Yeah, actually, it's well, I don't know. Here, if you read the thing, it says from series 1 and 2 plus the 30 special promotional cards.
Yeah, but only $25 for a whole. I think I had one of these. I remember buying the big set like this. So I don't know if I had this one, but I'm sure it wasn't this early one. I'm sure it was later, but I definitely bought this box because I remember unboxing it because I remember that big giant kind of set. So
Yeah.
but, yeah, fun stuff. But yeah, $25 at the time. That's probably like $60, but still, that's pretty cheap for a whole set of cards. 750 cards, like that's pretty damn good.
I dig it.
Any more ads for you guys? I got one more.
I got one more.
Okay.
So it's just really more of a shout out and a how'd this get through?
Oh.
Page 51.
My favorite.
Right here where it says looking for more gamers.
Yes.
That's the dwarf from Star Frontiers. That's in one of the character pictures of Star Frontiers. So how did this get into the Dragon magazine?
Well, this is it's a Dragon magazine ad. That's why.
Is it?
Yeah, it's for trying to get people to do more convention calendar. I think.
Yeah. All right. Well then, question answered.
Yeah, it is a TSR ad, so that makes sense. You're like, how the hell did they just steal this? You thought they just stole the art?
Yeah, I did, honestly, because it just said looking for gamers. It didn't, it didn't really. It doesn't have any.
Yeah, it's weird. It's a very
direction.
odd. Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? It's just. It looks like someone who just, ooh, I'm going to photocopy this picture and then I'm going to type this and then I'm going to get friends.
The only reason I know it just says turn to the convention calendar in this magazine to look at conventions. It's like that's a weird ad.
Yeah,
because it is kind of like someone must be like, no one's looking at the convention calendar enough. We need something to catch their eye somewhere in the magazine where you're reading something to kind of guide them in that direction. Maybe they're getting letters to the editor going, "Hey, no, you should have." And they're like, "It's in the magazine.
Yeah, it's right.
It's right there."
I thought it was going to be the now tax-free for college U.S. savings bonds. I thought that's what you were going to be talking about. My last ad is an interesting one. It's on page 75. This is a little bit of history in this one. I did some research on this one. It's Amber Diceless Role Playing by Eric Wujcik, who was also did a lot of the Palladium games. and he kind of went on his own to do this, Amber. But this is like one of the very first diceless games. Like, but they said that the reason this game failed, is because gamers just vehemently refused to play a game without dice. Like, they would be angry about this game. And like he'd get like hate letters and stuff about having no dice in this game. So it was one of the first, but they quickly learned why people want dice. It's because people are obsessed with dice.
I do like it says no dice, coin flips, cards, gyro sticks, computer chips, or any randomness.
Yeah, it's all
much like the
it was a bidding
DeLorean.
process, I think.
Yeah, well, I mean, some of these things here are what people are playing now. Like characters made with points, not dice.
Oh yeah.
That's the stable now, or that's the stable now.
I refuse to let this go, Jack. Much like a DeLorean. What does that
Much
start?
like a DeLorean. It was style and way
the
ahead
car
of its time.
I thought it was going to be a Back to the Future reference.
it lost out because it was not timed right. The zeitgeist was dice. This today, people play games like this all day long, all day strong. It's a
way ahead of its time for sure.
But
yeah, I would definitely put this as forward thinking.
It is. Sorry.
We're just a few years into people becoming dice goblins. The trend is still going
today.
Hey, each character has their own set of dice.
Yeah.
This was not going to catch on yet.
But it was coming to like the vampire. Like, I think it's an upcoming one. They do a vampire review, or did we already talk about that? But yeah, the idea of like storytelling games is coming, and that'll change. This guy was just like literally like a couple years ahead of his time. But Amber is the whole point of this. Amber is also it's a Roger Zelazny book series, so it was actually a licensed thing too, and it just never caught on. Funny how things are like that, but I thought it was interesting because when I saw it, I was like, oh yeah, Amber, I remember this, and I looked it up and I was like, oh, it failed because people hated it. No dice, like literally, they're like there's people like protesting this game, which is funny.
It is funny. But that being said, I'm still a dice goblin, but it doesn't stop me from playing a diceless game.
Well, it doesn't matter to me. Yeah, I collect the dice, and that I don't have to use them in a game. I just collect the dice.
Yeah.
Much like Doc Brown, he.
That's I thought I was going there. Is that it?
He collected. Yeah, that's it for me. And you guys?
I'm done.
I got nothing else.
All right. Well, I guess then we're just gonna wrap up this episode. Ravenloft out. Happy Halloween. Stay safe with your trick or treating.
91. Where was I in 91? I was in high school. Was I?
I was in my
it was
senior.
my last year of high school, I think.
It's my junior
91
college.
89, 90, 91. That would have been my third year of high school. I started in 89. And I think I only went 3 years. I don't think I went 4. I think I gave up.
Okay. I would have thought for sure you had one more in you, but...
Maybe 92. Might have graduated in 92.
Oh, well. C'est la vie.
Anyways, nice blue cover.
Well, nice blue cover. And anything else to add?
Like, share, subscribe.
Like to remark? Like, share, subscribe, comment in the book.
Tell us all the things we asked about.
Or we're wrong about.
We do get that quite a bit too, but it's because we're idiots.
We do mess up. Yeah. We don't claim to be experts. We're just going over what we read.
The very little research is done by a guy who has no brain power, and his memory is the size of a goldfish. So, if I do read something, it's probably wrong anyway. So, please correct me below.
Yes. So.
And if your last name is T'Chuk, and instead of chirping and gooning around on the ice, you probably should have, realized that score that matters, and that was the best of the 4 hockey NHL I've ever seen, and congratulations to the team that won.
The team that deserved to win.
And deserved to win.
and got their asses kicked by fists. That being said, so for the Dragon's Tome, I've been your host, Chopper.
I'm Jack.
I'm Rob.
And we will see you next week on episode 175.
We'll see if I'm tired again.
NPR talk out. So we will see you next week. Goodbye.